Hello, Ectosage here on the Sage channel. It's Sleep, Art, Game, and Eat. And today we had an update that added motors. Or not really added them, but updated them. And you can see here I have a basic setup with a station, something to power the motor, and the motor itself, as well as the large ship that's built onto that. And if I come into here, by pressing K, we go to the motor, you can see now we have a bunch of options that we didn't have before. And the option we had before is basically our velocity right here. And basically this works the same as before. That should be counterclockwise and spinning. Oh, I forgot to actually turn it on. So got to do that. There we go. Counterclockwise spinning. And this should be clockwise spinning. And this is, of course, as if you were looking down on the motor from above. Now, the other things they've added in here are pretty important. You can see it's spinning pretty quickly, so we're actually going to go in here. We're going to go into the motor, and we're going to turn its speed down. You can actually see this is rotations, I believe, per minute, or per something, because it's still going to be spinning pretty quick. And we're going to put it about at, there we go, 2.7. There we go. So maybe it is per minute. Nah, it's a bit quicker. But you can see it's spinning pretty slowly. If we go into here now, you can see our torque, and if we bring this down to pretty much nothing, and actually we're going to kill this right now, and we're going to turn on a braking torque. See, basically if I shut it off now, it's going to keep spinning forever. But if we up our braking torque, of course, it'll exert that much torque on trying to stop it, and with it up all the way, it pretty much stops instantly. So we're going to go back in here. We're going to go to, actually no, we're going to take this. We're going to build ourselves, it's going to count as like a big heavy object right here. There we go. That should count as something a bit heavy. And we're going to turn this back on, except for with extremely low torque. So we're going to go in here, do this, we got our torque, and we're going to put it down at like that tiny bit. And this amount of strength, you can see our tooltips they have in here now. They'll explain most of this for you if you get a little bit confused. But the torque is very, very low right now. We're going to turn it back on, and we're going to keep our spinning speed pretty dang low. And you see now, ooh, did I actually turn that back on? There we go, it's on. We got our torque run. I need some more torque because this is actually the strength of the motor. If it's too low, it's trying to spin up, but it's not going to spin up. So we turn it up a bit more. Still not enough. We're actually going to go in here and turn it up a whole lot more now. There we go. We can see it hit it, and it doesn't have enough strength to really push it instantly, so it just slowly pushes it out of the way. Now, if we were to go in here and do the same thing, but with, let's just shut it off really quickly. If we were going to do the same thing, except for with more torque, you'll instantly see a big difference when I do this, and we can even do it with an even bigger object. There we go. Nice big block. That should be heavy enough. And now, when we go in here, and actually I built that too close, didn't I? Yeah, whatever, that'll do. Anyway, now when we go in here and we turn this on, we're going to do everything the same, except for we're going to up the torque, which means it's going to speed up to that speed quicker, but when it hits something, it's also going to have more force to exert on it. So we're going to turn it on, and really quickly, you can see it easily just pushes it out of the way and carries on its merry way at the same speed it was going. So it didn't slow up when it hit it like it did with that one, and it easily just pushed it right out of the way. Now if we go back in here, we can of course, wrong thing, we can go in here, shut it off again, it'll stop. Now with these are pretty interesting. This is basically useful for making doors and other advanced machinery, where you can see here it's giving us a number, our percentage of turn, and this is a low angle limit and a high angle limit. So let's say if you wanted to make a door, you'd maybe set this as close to 0 as you can get it, and this is as close to 90 as you can get it. And now this would be a door that would swing open. If we turn this on, you can see, hop in here, got our torque, all that stuff. We're going to up the speed, and we're just going to turn it on. And you can see now it locks it at, I believe, the 90 point. And now if we were to go in here and reverse it, the door would of course go backwards to the 1 degree point. So there you go. So if you had a nice floor like right here, and this is basically a big door right here, it would be opening and closing when you reverse the direction of the motor. Now another thing that they showed when they did their video explaining all this is that you could have that same sort of setup, and basically what I just showed there with the door is what this is here, except for it's on its side. And something they showed, this ship isn't exactly built for it, but it'll be good enough. I'm going to fly in here really quickly and take it for a little spin. And they showed that if you have the motor set up in one direction, that was the wrong button, one direction to close the doors, which is basically what this big yellow door I'm flying towards is set up as. If you were to push the door open, long as the door doesn't have a huge amount of torque to stop you from pushing it open, once it's opened and you're through, it'll automatically close itself because it's obviously trying to keep itself closed the whole time you're opening it. I'm doing this really slowly, that way I just don't tear through it, and there you go. You can see now we've pushed it open, and I'm going through, and because the door had a low amount of torque, it didn't stop me from pushing it open, and now you can see it's closing itself automatically. So that could be kind of useful. They actually showed with the landing gears on the front, but I didn't feel like sticking them on the front of this. I have a feeling they do some damage negation, but I was experimenting with them earlier, and it wasn't really all that much. My ship still got torn up, and what they were ramming into still got pretty torn up. Over here I have the same basic thing as that, except for it's 2 doors, and I can go up here and of course open them both by simply opening their control panel, going down to these 2 doors, and it's these 2 I believe, and reversing the direction I want them to open and close. Now with these, of course, I've been trying to tweak this stuff, but I've been having some trouble with them. You can see there they were similar settings, but they open very differently. Even if I've tried hard to get them at the exact same settings, they seem to want to open at different speeds. And I've actually had them just not respond anymore. Everything's been on. I've had the torque up. I've tried changing limits. So there's some weird stuff going on with these motors. Anyway, I just wanted to show you a really quick update on how they have changed these motors today. A lot of interesting stuff. They've actually showed sort of a gear mechanism where they were pulling something out of the way. I tried to recreate that with actual full door, but I ended up running into some troubles because these motors are offset. If you look there, they're slightly bigger than a single block. They actually have this little gap. When I was trying to line up my big door in a nice little slit, it ended up crashing to everything, and I decided, hey, I'll wait, maybe they'll change that in the future and make it easier, and for now it's not worth the trouble. Anyway, thanks a bunch for watching. I suggest you go play with these yourself. They take a bit of getting used to. They seem to be giving me some trouble where they just seem to stop working after a while. I'm not sure exactly why that is. But anyway, it's a good addition to the game, and now the main thing I am really looking forward to are working weapons, because I just want to see them. Anyway, thanks a bunch for watching. I'll see you guys next time. One of the nice things with this, though, is in the future, they'll probably have remote controls to access motors. They'll hopefully even have a reverse button, so you can just press a button and instantly reverse the way those motors are going. I bet you that's all sorts of stuff that's coming. Maybe even they'll have, special buttons put in, so you can just press a button and instantly the door would reverse without having to actually go in there and do anything. And I'm talking about a button, actually, that you can place on a wall. A lot of stuff I think is on its way, but it's just not there yet. Anyway, I just felt like I'd throw this in there too. Thanks again, guys, for watching. I'll see you later.